Hello students, welcome back. This is our third lecture of Unit 1 of Machine Design subject, and we are going to discuss today on the topic of factor of safety. First of all, what are the learning objectives of today's lecture? Let's have a look on that. The objectives of today's lecture are: first, the objectives of today's lecture are to apply the concept of factor of safety. Second, to study about the factors considered while taking factor of safety. Third, to understand the importance of each factor while taking factor of safety. And the fourth objective is to develop a learning about calculating factor of safety for design of any machine or component. So let's move into this. The references which I have taken while compiling the content of this video lecture are the main book which I have referred for making the content of this video is the Design of Machine Element book written by V.B. Bhandari. It is of Tata McGraw-Hill publication. Apart from that, you can use for reference other books also. This is the key book from which I have taken the references. Apart from that, there are other books also like this, The Element of Machine Design by N.C. Pandya and C.S. Shah. Apart from that, there is Machine Design book by R.C. Bell and V.K. Goel. Then you can also refer, this is also a good book. This is the best book of machine element design. You can refer this book. This is also of McGraw-Hill publication. The writer of this book is J.E. Shingley, Machine Mechanical Engineering Design by J.E. Shingley. Then there is one more, Machine Design, K. Puraja and B.L. Juneja. This is of Dhanpat Rai publication. You can also refer this book. But as far as I am concerned, I have mainly used this content of this book for reference. So now let's move into the content. First of all, what is factor of safety? While designing a component, it is very necessary to provide sufficient reserve strength in case of an accident. This is achieved by taking a suitable factor of safety. In short, we also write it as FS or FOS. FOS stands for factor of safety. Factor of safety is defined as the ratio of failure stress upon allowable stress. See, if we design any component on the basis of maximum load which it can bear, then what will happen? Whenever load will be applied on it, and if that is the maximum load, then the material will be failed. Therefore, always we design a material in such a way that there are lesser chances of accidents or failure. So factor of safety is basically what? It is the ratio of failure stress upon allowable stress. The allowable stress is the stress value which is used in design to determine the dimensions of the component. Alright, it is considered as a stress which the designer expects will not be exceeded under normal operating conditions. Once again I am repeating, this is an important line. The allowable stress is the stress value which is used in design to determine the dimensions of the component. Alright, it is used to determine the dimension of the component, and it is considered as a stress which the designer expects will not be exceeded under normal operating conditions. Now, For ductile materials, the allowable stress is obtained by following relationship. See, as we have seen, the formula says that this is the formula. You can see this is the formula. Factor of safety is equal to failure stress. Means failure stress is what? This is basically the maximum stress which the material can bear divided by the allowable stress. Allowable stress can also be called as designed stress. Allowable stress is also sometimes known as designed stress. Means this is the value which you will have to take while designing. This is the stress value which you will have to take while designing. So failure stress means the maximum stress. Failure stress means it denotes the maximum stress. Failure stress means it denotes the maximum stress, and divided by the design stress you will get the factor of safety. Now in case of ductile materials, what happens? The maximum stress that the ductile material can bear is known as its yield stress point. So here in this case what we take? We take the maximum stress value as yield stress, and the allowable stress is same. So in this case, if someone asks you what is the designed value of the stress, so what you will do, you will use this formula, and from this formula, if you move this factor of safety in the RHS and that too in the denominator, what will happen? This allowable stress you will get equal to the value which is given here. What is given? SYT ultimate, not ultimate, yield stress upon factor of safety. This will provide you the value of allowable stress. Now for the case of brittle materials, what you will take? In the case of brittle materials, you will take allowable stress is equal to maximum stress upon factor of safety, but here the maximum stress will be given by, the maximum stress will be given by which? Here the maximum stress will be given by this formula which you are seeing on the screen. What is the formula? It is sigma A is equal to ultimate tensile strength upon factor of safety. It is equal to sigma A is equal to ultimate tensile strength upon factor of safety. It is equal to ultimate tensile strength upon factor of safety. So this is the formula which we can use for brittle material. While in case of ductile material, the formula that was used was yield stress upon factor of safety. Through this formula, you can calculate the designed stress value, which you can use to, while designing the parts of the component which you are designing. Now let us consider the factors which are considered while taking the factor of safety. There are numerous factors which are considered before taking the value of factor of safety. First of all, we should have to know that these factor of safety value calculated during the design process is very difficult to accurately evaluate in design and analysis. There are number of factors which are difficult to evaluate accurately in design analysis. Some of the factors are as follows. First, uncertainty in the magnitude of external force. Uncertainty in the magnitude of external force acting on the component. If there is uncertainty in judging the magnitude of external force that is acting on the component, then also the factor of safety cannot be easily calculated. Apart from that, the other factor is the variation in the properties of materials like yield strength or ultimate tensile strength. Means the factor of safety taken for a material which fails under yielding is different from the factor of safety value taken for a material which fails at ultimate tensile strength value. Means the factor of safety value is different for ductile material, and it is also different for brittle material also. Now the third important factor is the variation in the dimension of the component due to imperfect workmanship. What is this? This is if there is variation in the component due to some human error, then also the factor of safety value judged cannot be easily judged. In addition to these forces, there are number of assumptions which are made in design analysis in order to simplify the calculation. They may not be easily valid in working conditions. They may not be easily valid in working conditions. Now, the factor of safety ensures against these uncertainties and unknown conditions which I have told you. The factor of safety which you take, it ensures safety against these uncertainty and unknown conditions. All right. Now, moving into, I hope this all 3 points are well understood by you. The factor first is the external force acting on the component, its magnitude. If it is undecided, then factor of safety, decision of factor of safety value is a difficult one. The second is the property of the material, like yield strength or ultimate tensile strength. In case of a ductile material, there is failure due to yielding, and therefore the factor of safety taken in that case is different from the factor of safety taken for brittle materials like cast iron. In that case, the value is of factor of safety taken is much higher. Similarly, the third factor can be variation in the dimension of the component due to imperfect workmanship. Sometimes during production process also, if due to human error there is error or variation in the dimension of the component, in that case also the factor of safety cannot be judged. In addition to these factors, the number of assumptions are made in design analysis. These are taken why? In order to simplify the calculations. They might be not exactly valid in working conditions. So, therefore, the factor of safety ensures against these uncertainties and unknown conditions. Now considering the magnitude of factor of safety now depends on the following. We will consider different areas where the factor of safety value is judged on some different criteria. Now we are going to focus on that. The magnitude of factor of safety depends on the number of following factors. What are those factors? Let's see. What are those factors? Let's see. First is the effect of failure. First is what? First is effect of failure. Sometimes what happens, the failure of a machine element involves only a little inconvenience or loss of time. This can be, for example, you can take the example of a ball bearing in a gearbox. All right. So in that case, the failure, if there is any failure, then you will not have much loss of money or life or machine. So apart from this, on the other hand, what happens in some cases, there is substantial financial loss or danger to human life. Like you can take the example of failure of valve in a pressure vessel. If in a pressure vessel your valve fails, what will happen? If your valve fails in a pressure vessel, then the damage caused due to this problem, due to this failure, the damage that is caused will be very much high, and it can also be very dangerous for human life. So here the cost, here the loss is very high, financial as well as human life loss. So the both cases are very much different. So if we have to consider the factor of safety in both the cases, in the first case where I have told you that if there is very less loss of financial or human life, like for example loss of ball bearing, in that case we take the factor of safety slightly lower, because if there is failure also, then also there is not too much loss. But in case of a pressure vessel, like I have given you an example of pressure vessel, in such cases where the financial loss is very much high, in that case what happens, we take very high factor of safety. Why? Because too much loss is involved after the failure. So for For preventing the failure, what we do, we take high factor of safety. Now the second factor which is used while considering the magnitude of factor of safety is the type of load. Now how this is considered, let's see. The factor of safety is low when the external force acting on the machine element is static. That is, what is a static load? A static load means a load which does not vary in magnitude or direction with respect to time. What is factor of safety? What is a static load? It is the load which does not vary. It is the load which does not vary in magnitude or direction with respect to time. We are discussing on that topic the type of load. All right. So if there is a static load, you can take low factor of safety, because in that case you can judge the value of load that is acting. But while we take the case of an impact load, in that case a higher factor of safety is selected. A higher factor of safety is selected when the machine element is subjected to impact load. So in impact loading, a higher factor of safety is taken, while in case of a static load, you can take low factor of safety. This is due to the fact that impact load is suddenly applied to the machine. We all know that what is impact load. Impact load is suddenly applied to the machine component, and that also at very high velocity. Impact load is what? Impact load is suddenly applied, and that too at a very high velocity. All right. So first is effect of failure, second is type of load. In type of load, if there is a static load, then you can take low factor of safety, and if there is impact loading, then you take a high factor of safety. What is a static load? The load which does not vary in magnitude or direction is known as a static load. And what is impact load? A load which is applied suddenly, and that too with high velocity, is known as impact loading. Now let's move into the next slide. The third factor considered while taking factor of safety is the degree of accuracy in force analysis. When the forces acting on the machine component are precisely determined, a low factor of safety can be selected. On the other hand, a high factor of safety is necessary when the machine component is subjected to a force whose magnitude or direction is uncertain and unpredictable. All right. So if the analysis, what this point is saying to you, this point is saying to you, if you can analyze all the forces which are particularly acting on the machine component, if you are able to analyze it, means if you are designing some machine which has to be used somewhere, and you can analyze all the forces which will be acting on that particular machine during its use, and if all the forces can be accurately determined, then in that case you can take low factor of safety. All right. If the forces are accurately determined, then low factor of safety you can take. But sometimes what happens, it is very difficult to predict all the forces along with its value that are acting on particular machine during its working condition. So in that case, since we can't predict all the forces, therefore analysis is a bit difficult. So we generally take a high factor of safety in that case. What we do, we generally take a high factor of safety in the case where magnitude and direction of force are uncertain and unpredictable. All right. So this is the point of degree of accuracy in force analysis. If forces are accurately determined, then you can take low factor of safety, and if the forces are not accurately determined, you are not able to predict the forces acting, means the forces acting are either uncertain and unpredictable, so in that case a high factor of safety you can take. All right. Now into the next point. What is the next point? The next point is the material of the component. Now The factor of safety also is dependent on the material of the component. When the component is homogeneous, ductile material. See, if the material is homogeneous ductile material like steel, yield strength is the criteria of failure. Yield strength is the criteria of failure. Means we all know that the ductile material fails due to yielding. Their failure point, their maximum strength is yield strength. So its criteria of failure is yield strength. All right, the factor of safety in such cases is small. The factor of safety taken in such cases is what? Is small. In which cases? The cases in which failure occurs due to yielding, means where yield strength is the criteria of failure. While on the other hand, a cast iron component, we all know a cast iron component is a non-homogeneous structure. It is basically a brittle material. So a cast iron component, in case of cast iron component, a high factor of safety has to be taken based on ultimate tensile strength. Here the failure criteria is based on its maximum strength value, which is its ultimate tensile strength. Now why what is the reason behind this? See, in yielding, if the material, if what is yielding, due to yielding the material gets distorted, it will not be of the same shape, or it will not be of the original shape, but it will continue to function whatever the function is assigned to it. But in case of brittle material, if the failure occurs, then no function will be performed. Why? Because brittle materials tend to break into two pieces without giving any sign of yielding. Means there will be no distortion. Directly the material will be broken into two pieces. Generally, the cast iron are brittle materials which are of non-homogeneous structure, while the ductile materials have a homogeneous structure. So this is the important point to be discussed. Factor of safety taken when the material of the component are different. All right, the material of the component, when they are different, then factor of safety is different for all the cases. In case of yield strength, the factor of safety value is taken lower, while in brittle material the factor of safety is taken higher. All right, now moving into the next point. The next point is reliability of the component. The next point is what? The next point is reliability of the component. Means how much reliable you want a component. If you want a component to be highly reliable, in that case you will have to take a high factor of safety. And if reliability is not a big issue for you, then you can take low factor of safety. Generally, you can take an example of a Chinese product. A Chinese product does not have high reliability. So since they do not have high reliability, so the factor of safety taken there is very low. Therefore, these Chinese items are generally cheaper. Why? Because the factor of safety is taken very low, and when a factor of safety is taken very low, then what happens? Then in that case, the cost of the component is also low. So these 2 points are interrelated to each other. If the reliability is high, the cost will be low. All right. If reliability is high, then the cost of the component will be low. And if the reliability is kept low, once again I am repeating this point. If the reliability, you want the reliability to be high, then the cost also will be high. And if you want the reliability, if you take the reliability low, then the cost of the component will also be low. Both are directly proportional. Reliability of the component and the cost of the component, both are directly proportional to each other. Reliability and cost. In reliability, let's see what is written here. In certain applications like continuous process equipment, or the power stations, or the defense equipment, high reliability of the component is expected. We all know that the areas where highly reliable product are needed are which areas? Defense equipment areas. Why? Because in defense sector, if always there is a situation of war, in that war situation, if your equipment fails, then there is loss, very much loss. So reliability of the component in that case should be high. Therefore, we have seen, generally you would have seen that in a defense sector, all the equipments are very bulky. Means the factor of safety taken are very high. All right. Similarly is the case for the equipments which are used for processing as well as power station where electricity is generated. In there also there is loss of there will be very much financial as well as human life loss. Therefore, reliability is kept high in these cases. And since the reliability is kept high, therefore the cost of the component is also high. The factor of safety, see the punchline here. The factor of safety increases with increasing reliability. The factor of safety increases with increasing reliability. The factor of safety increases with increasing reliability. All right, now coming into the next point. What is the next point? The cost of the component. As the factor of safety increases, dimension of the component, material requirement and cost also increases. All right, the factor of safety is low for cheap machine parts. See, if you will keep the factor of safety high, what will happen? The dimension of the component, the material required and the cost, all these three things will increase. If you increase factor of safety, what will happen? Dimension will increase, material required will be therefore will be increased, and therefore the cost will be increased. Getting my point? If you want to increase the FOS, if you want to increase the FOS, if you want to increase the factor of safety, then dimensions of the component will also increase. All right, and the material required will also increase, and therefore the cost will be increased. The factor of safety therefore is low. When it is low? It is low for cheap machine parts, because for cheap machine parts what will happen? Factor of safety is low, therefore dimensions of the component you can take less, material required will also be less, and the cost therefore will also be less, and such products are known as cheap machine parts. So the factor of safety is low for cheap machine parts. All right, got the point? Now moving further, the next factor which is very important while taking the factor of safety, that is the testing of machine element. A low factor of safety, is chosen when the machine component can be tested under actual conditions of service operation. All right, a high factor of safety is necessary when it is not possible to test the machine parts or where there is deviation between test conditions and actual conditions. Sometimes the testing of the equipment, sometimes what happens, the testing of the component is not very easy. It cannot be tested under actual conditions of service and operation. It happens many a times the testing is not very easy. Sometimes there are problems involved in testing. Either the testing cannot be done under actual conditions of service and operation, or there can be some other issues. So in such cases a high factor of safety is needed. Why? Because you have not tested the component, and since you have not tested the component, you might not know its a high value of factor, a high value of failure. Therefore you have to take, since you are not able to predict its failure, therefore in that case what you take high factor of safety. Since you can't predict its failure, since you have not done its testing, therefore in such components a high factor of safety is very important. Factor of safety is very important when it is not possible to test the machine part, or where there is deviation between test conditions and actual service conditions. Such situations also come when there is very much deviation between the test conditions and actual service conditions. See, whenever test is conducted on any component, then in that case what happens, the test conditions are very much different from the conditions at which the component will be used after its testing, after its designing, after it has been brought to the market. So since this deviation, if it can't be predicted nicely, so in that case high factor of safety is taken. Now the last important point, which is also interrelated with this previous point, this point and this point, they both are interrelated. So what is the last point? Last point you can see, last point is the service condition. What is this factor? Let's understand it. When the machine element is likely to operate in corrosive atmosphere, means if you are designing or if you are creating a product which has to be used in highly difficult atmosphere. Difficult atmosphere means if the atmosphere is very corrosive, all right, or if there is high temperature environment, then in such cases what will happen? In such cases you are forced, you are bound to take high factor of safety. Why? Corrosion atmosphere or high temperature atmosphere will fail the material very early as compared to normal atmospheric condition. So in such conditions, the factor of safety of the components used is taken very high. All right, so this is the point of service conditions. Which is this point? This is the service conditions point. So let's see what is the next point. Last point is the quality of manufacture. The last point is quality of manufacture. When the quality of manufacture is high, variation in dimension of the machine components are less. When the quality of manufacture is high, what happens? The variation in dimension of the machine component is less. All right, when quality of manufacturing is high, the variation in dimension of the components are less and a low factor of safety can be selected. While a high factor of safety is taken where there is poor manufacturing quality. All right, if see, this is, you might get confused in this point, since it is talking about the quality of manufacturing. This is not about the quality of product, this is about the quality of manufacturing. If a material has been manufactured very accurately and there is a high quality of manufacturing, so in that case what you can take the factor of safety less. But if the manufacturing has been a bit poor, so poor manufacturing means the material might not be that much accurate or strong since its quality is poor, so you are bound to take a high factor of safety. All right, poor manufacturing quality means high factor of safety you will have to take, and a high quality of manufacturing means less factor of safety you can take. All right, so let's summarize quickly all the points. What was the first point? First was the effect of failure. The failure if the failure of the component whose factor of safety you are taking, if the failure of that particular components causes loss of financial loss as well as human loss, then in that case what we take high factor of safety. While in the case when there is less loss of life or financial loss, in that case we take a high factor, even we can take low factor of safety. Second point, the type of load. All right, the type of load, if the load is a static load, means it is not varying with time, it is not varying in magnitude and or direction with respect to time, you can take low factor of safety. While if the load is impact load, all right, which is suddenly applied at very high velocity, so in that case we take a high factor of safety. All right, then after which, what was the third point? Let's see what was the third point. The third point was degree of accuracy in force analysis. Degree of accuracy in force analysis, if the forces are accurately measured or accurately predicted, then in that case we take low factor of safety. All right, if the forces are acting on the component, if the forces that will be acting on the component during its use, if that are accurately determined, we take low factor of safety. While a high factor of safety is taken when the magnitude and direction of the forces acting on the machine component is very much uncertain and unpredictable. In that case what we take high factor of safety. And then the next point is what? Material of the component. If the material of the component is the ductile material, then in that case low factor of safety can be taken. Why? Because there the material might get distorted before getting filled, so during its distortion also it may perform its function, so a low factor of safety can be taken in that case. But in case of brittle material like cast iron, which are non-homogeneous structures, a high factor of safety is taken. All right, moving into the next point, reliability of the component. In certain applications like continuous process equipment, power stations or defense equipment, so there is too much concern on reliability. The material should be very much reliable. So for increasing the reliability of the component, you will have to increase its factor of safety. And if you don't want the material to be too much reliable, means the material does not have to be used in such serious conditions like defense sectors or like these sectors. So in that case, low factor of safety can be taken. So reliability is also an important criteria. Then after coming into the cost of the component, if you want to keep the cost of the component low, then you can take less factor of safety, less value of factor of safety. But if the cost or if your budget is high, you can take a high factor of safety. Means for taking high factor of safety, you will have to bear very high cost. But if you want to take a low factor of safety, you will not have to bear high cost. So this was the point. Coming to the next point, testing. If testing of machine element, if the testing of the component has been done accurately, all the forces, everything has been tested nicely, then low factor of safety can be taken. Then low factor of safety can be taken if testing has been done under actual conditions of operation. But if the testing has not been done under actual service conditions, then high factor of safety has to be taken, because in that case we don't know what will happen to the component. Similarly, the service conditions, if the service conditions are very harsh, like a corrosive environment where the material where the component has to be used, or there is high temperature environment, then in that case high factor of safety has to be taken. Then after, last is the quality of manufacture. If the quality of manufacturing, if you are manufacturing the product with high quality, then you can take low factor of safety. But if the manufacturing process quality is not good, then you can't take low factor of safety. You will have to keep the factor of safety value, high in the case of when there is poor manufacturing quality. If the manufacturing quality is very good, then you can do what? You can take low factor of safety. All right, so these were all the points. I hope you would have understand all the points. Now there are some guidelines for selection of quantitative values of factor of safety. All right, what are those guidelines? Let's look into these also. First, for cast iron components, ultimate tensile strength is considered to be the failure criteria. For cast iron components, in case of cast iron components, what happens? Ultimate tensile strength is considered as the failure criteria. Failure occurs when the maximum stress in the component due to external force exceeds the ultimate tensile strength. All right. Second point, for components made of ductile materials, example steel, and which are subjected to external static load, in that case yield strength is considered to be the failure criteria. I have already discussed this point while telling you, when such components are overloaded and the stress due to external force exceeds the yield strength of the material, there is a small amount of plastic deformation, which usually does not put the component out of service. Even if there is any plastic deformation, then also such components, such ductile materials do not fail to give service. They keep on giving their service. So therefore in this case, low factor of safety can be taken. All right, now moving into the next point. Third point, for component made of ductile material and those subjected to fluctuating load. In case of fluctuating load, the failure criteria is the endurance limit. Endurance limit is the maximum limit beyond which the material will fail when the fluctuating load is acting on it. So in such cases, we consider endurance limit to be the failure criteria. This is the failure criteria. Such components failed on account of fatigue. What is the fourth point? The design of certain components such as cam and followers, gears, or rolling contact bearing or rail and wheel is subjected on the calculation of contact stresses by the Hurst theory. All right. Failure of such component is usually in the form of small pits. Small pits are developed on the surface of the component. Pitting is what? Pitting is surface fatigue. If you continuously are using any component, there is contact between the two surfaces, and what will happen after a certain point of time, there will be some there will be some pit developed, and this process is known as pitting, which occurs when contact stresses exceeds the surface endurance limit. So this point also is understood by you. What is the last point? Certain components such as piston rod, power screw struts are designed on the basis of buckling consideration. Alright, so these were the points. These were the guidelines for selection of quantitative values of the factor of safety. Now, a high factor of safety is chosen under the following conditions. What are the following conditions? First, when the magnitude and nature of the external forces acting on the machine cannot be precisely determined. Second, it is likely that the material of the component has non-homogeneous structure, then also your factor of safety will be high. First is what? First is when the forces cannot be accurately determined, then high factor of safety. Second, when the material is non-homogeneous, means brittle material, factor of safety will be high. Third, the machine component is subjected to impact force. When there is impact loading, your high factor of safety will be taken. When there is some possibility of residual stresses in the component, means if there is some cavity or some hole, air pocket developed in the component, in that case factor of safety will have to be taken higher. The next, the machine component is working in a corrosive atmosphere. If the atmosphere is corrosive where the machine has to be worked or taken into use, in that case also we take high factor of safety. And the next point, the machine part is subjected to high temperature during operation, then also your factor of safety will be high. All right, next point, it is a factor of safety will also be high when the failure of the machine part may hazard the loss of life. If the loss of life and finance is very much high, in that case also what will be there will be high factor of safety. Then if material is not tested properly, then also factor of safety will be high. Then after, in aircraft where high reliability is required, there also factor of safety has to be taken high. Then in last point, if there is abnormal variation in external load, in such cases also the factor of safety has to be taken high. So these were all the points. Now I hope you have understood everything. 3 points are more. Here also factor of safety is taken higher when the quality of manufacturing of the machine part is low, then high factor of safety. If failure cannot be predicted nicely, then also factor of safety will be taken high. Or if the stress concentration is there in the machine component, means if there are sharp sharp variation in the cross section of the component, so in here high stresses are developed. So if such is the case, then also you take high factor of safety. So these were all the areas where high factor of safety is taken. I hope you have understood this. Now one more point is there, a high factor of now the punchline of whole of the discussion is that a high factor of safety a higher factor of safety increases the reliability of the component. All right, if you take high factor of safety, reliability of the component will increase, but the dimension and the volume of the material used will be large, and so the cost of the machine component will be high. So this is the punchline of the whole of the discussion. Now some multiple choice questions are here. First, when the machine element is likely to operate in a corrosive atmosphere or high temperature environment, the factor of safety should be, as I have already discussed with you, in such cases the factor of safety has to be taken high because the service condition is corrosive. So the answer will be B. Coming into the next one, the factor of safety is dash for cheap machine parts. Now if the cost is less, then the component is considered as cheap, and for cheap components the factor of safety you can take low. So the answer for this will be your option A. A will be the answer. Coming into the third MCQ, when the quality of manufacturing is high, factor of safety taken is, now see, this point also we have discussed in our discussion. Quality of manufacturing is inversely proportional to factor of safety. Means if the quality of manufacturing is high, factor of safety taken will be low. So in this case the answer will be A. Moving into the next point. Next multiple choice question. When the component is made of a homogeneous ductile material like steel, then factor of safety is, in case of homogeneous ductile material, the factor of safety, as I have already told to you, the factor of safety in cases of ductile material is taken as low. You can take low factor of safety. Alright, now moving into the next MCQ 5. In defense equipment, the factor of safety taken is, in defense equipment there is too much there to loss involved, loss of finance or human in case of failure. Therefore, here the factor of safety taken is high. Second point is the answer. Now coming into the next MCQ, when the forces acting on the machine component are precisely determined, are accurately determined, the factor of safety taken is, now if the forces are accurately determined, then there is no need to take high factor of safety. You can take less factor of safety. So in this case, the answer is option A, low. Then moving into the next point, next MCQ, in application where failure of a machine part may result in serious accidents, the factor of safety taken is, if there is chance of serious accident in due to failure of the component. So in these cases, as I have discussed with you, the factor of safety has to be taken higher. Then coming into the next MCQ, a cast iron component is manufactured using dash factor of safety. Cast iron component, since it is a brittle component, and in brittle component the failure is due to ultimate tensile strength, and therefore we take a high factor of safety. So the answer of this will be B. Now the last MCQ, when the machine element is likely to operate in corrosive atmosphere or high temperature atmosphere, then the factor of safety taken is, factor of safety taken in such cases when there is corrosive atmosphere, as I have discussed with you, it is high. So I hope you have understood and got a very good idea of factor of safety through this today's discussion. Alright, so thanks all, thank you very much. We will meet again in our fourth lecture where we will discuss something new. Okay, thank you.